I want to do some homework on the
new
meetings.
Right. So here we are again for another episode of Hump Night. And you guys know me. I'm Josh Withrow, joining you from Delaware. We got Charles Chuckett Hoover joining us from God knows where. And we got a special guest tonight. We got Chris Justice with us, also known as md95tsi. So Chris, first and foremost, bro, tell us about that name.
Okay, well, I once had a car, and this is the car right here. That is a 1995 Eagle Talon TSI Turbo Sport Intercooling. So I live in Maryland. I took the year of the car and TSI and just threw it together. And I've had that name for years on Xbox. I do it on YouTube. Everything I do, that's like my trademark. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, one of the things, let's talk about how we met. Yes, we met through some similar friends and acquaintances, but then, we started joining your live streams. You also go by the Drone Network, and you guys stream pretty much like all the time.
Yes, we always, it's the banner up here too. The Drone Network is a live stream that me and Neil, also Captain Cook, he's now known as the Drone Network. He's changed his name to the Drone Network now. That's something we put together just to communicate with people on YouTube, newcomers, help them out throughout the hobby. Yep. And Eric and I was watching my local news one day, and you were at Harrington, and that's my first time ever seeing you. So it was like when you come into my live stream, it was like, yeah,
Man, I'm just some little podunk potato eating Delawarean.
But then stuff. Like Bob the biker, he like bring he knew like Mike Plummet, guys like that already. So he was inviting them to the show and whatnot. And he knew about the NoobTube crew back on Facebook, or back when they started on Facebook or something. Bob the biker.
Yep. Okay. Very cool. So the Drone Network was this idea between some of you guys to do what? Like just kind of like pull in anybody who was doing any type of drones, be it photography, racing and freestyle, mini whoops, tiny whoops, or anything like that? Like what was the idea behind this Drone Network?
Basically to network all drone flyers. So if you're flying tiny whoops, you're flying race drones, you're in the freestyle, you're in the camera birds. As you can see, I have them here. Josh actually flown this baby here. But I have them, I have the solo, I have the unique, I have the phantoms, I have the race, ones that, whatever. It's everything to more or less network everyone and get people flying together. And it happens. People come into our lobby and are like, well, I'm in Michigan and you don't have no one there. And we're like, no, hold on. We got like 7 people in the lobby right now. And they end up linking and networking and getting people together and getting more people into the hobby too.
So how you might have actually said this. I was having some technical difficulties a second ago, getting everything set up proper. But how'd you meet Cap? How'd you meet the captain?
I met the captain. I was just surfing YouTube. I started out in the field just with talking to a GoPro, filming, putting my stuff on YouTube, sharing it. And I was cruising through YouTube, and I was just like trying to grab people's attention, trying to see who was really serious into the hobby as I was. And I just come across him, and then so he had like a little giveaway on his channel, a little H36 JJRC. So I went ahead and entered it, and it was like ever since that day we just clicked. It was like me and him. It's like he's my big brother, and we clicked. It was just unexplainable. Something was just locked in once we communicated with each other, and we've been here and straight
brotherhood is grown.
Yep.
That's what it's about. Because I travel for work, I've had the opportunity to meet a handful of these guys while I'm just on the road. And Chuck is one of those guys. And I've actually gotten to meet up with him multiple times now. So he is you know, probably one of the people I'm the closest with in the group. Just
awesome.
You know, you can't.
My Withrow cherry has been popped.
You Withrow cherry.
Yeah, they got a dose of me the other week when we went down to run in with Chris and Crystal and.
Yep, awesome. Yeah, that was a great.
So you actually got to meet up with everybody?
Yeah, I got to meet up with those two, and the troublemaker that now has no name.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He who shall not be named.
You said it before I did.
But yes, that was awesome, man. Meeting up with Josh and Flying and Eric. E-Drone was there, and I've known E-Drone now for a little bit now. But when it was funny because I was talking to Eric one night, and I was like, "Man, I'm going to meet up with Josh," and he's like, "Wait a minute, Josh who?" I was like, "Josh Withrow." He's like, "Wait a minute, how did you meet? How do you know Josh?" He's like, "I met Josh at the track, dude. You were supposed to be there, but I was going to meet. I would have been there that day with Eric, but I had to work." He's like, "How the heck did you even get with Josh? I'm lost here." I'm like, "Bro, they come into the drone network." He's like, "No way." And then Chuck started coming in, and it's just like Mike Plummet, Night Train FPV, and Plummet FPV. Like it just like put us out there, and just like the drone network, and then all you guys start showing up. Old Gravy Leg, Matt,
hey,
people.
You can give that all to Adam, dude. Adam's the one who brought us all in, really.
Well,
yep,
he's like, and then we just kind of mobbed you.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's awesome. And man, I love Plummet. He's awesome, dude. He's epic. Like awesome brother having the family. That's what it's about. That's what we like to do. Share knowledge. I don't know everything. I'm just getting into the building, so there's a lot of stuff, and I do everything on the cheap. You know what I mean? I don't try to buy everything real expensive because I can't afford it, right? And so yeah, I mean that's what it is, and about sharing knowledge and helping people get on. And I don't want to get ahead of our topic, so.
No, that's exactly.
Talk what you want, man.
For any of the people listening, I kind of put together a little topic list, little things for us to talk about, because we'll get to some other things that are probably a little deeper, a little heavier. All you guys should be privy to, but if not, that's why we want to talk about these things, is, to put them in the forefront. But no, never mind that. It's not really a schedule. It's just there to help keep us moving.
Okay.
But, the Noob Tube was started by Aaron Leslie. At the time, he was going by the handle of Icarus. Now he goes by Icky, or then he went by Icky. Then he went Icky.
It's still Icky, but you're talking about the Icky verse.
All that. He keeps changing his name. And anyway, this was started by him and actually Chuck. The two of them kind of dreamt this up together, this FPV Noob Tube, and with the same premise that, you're never going to know it all. You're never going to know everything that's happening. You're always going to be new at something. You might be the best person there at the time, whether it be skill or knowledge or something, but someday somebody else is going to trump you. The idea is you're always a noob. And one of the really cool things about this is that they put this, there's the YouTube channel. And it's no secret, part of doing this live stream is to get more interactive and start pulling people in from the other areas, because that's something we weren't doing. But we have this really kick-ass Facebook group, and it's super interactive.
Yeah, Facebook.
Oh, go ahead, bro.
Sorry. Go ahead, Chuck.
I was gonna say I can't take all the credit. I can't take much of the credit for the FPV Noob Tube with Aaron. I did mention to him that he should start the Facebook group, so we'd have a place to meet up and talk.
Right.
But as far as the YouTube channel goes, I help him out. But that was all him in the beginning.
Nice. What's up?
If you see this, Aaron, pretty much all done now.
What's up, Mike? Night Train FPV, Mr. Winky Head Anthony, Ryan RDFPV, Plummet.
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of people popping in.
Yeah.
Hendy Shot says happy birthday, Chuck. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah. Happy belated birthday also, brother.
I'm old.
So what are you, the big 5'4"?
You kidding me? I know I look old, man, but I'm only 40.
I'm only 40. Man, you're not old then. You're good.
I got 1 year.
I'm 45.
Hey, wait, Josh, you know what it feels like to turn from 39 to 40?
The same as it did yesterday when I turned
Bob
38 to
Biker,
39.
welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Now you do. Now when I hit 45, I kind of felt it. I tell you what, after 40, my arm ain't long enough to read things no more. You know what I mean? It's like,
Shoot,
I
you
didn't
still look like
realize.
a kid, brother.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say, I didn't realize you were that old.
Yep, 45.
Damn,
Still,
son.
still handsome.
You have a very young face, you know?
Yeah, that's what a lot of people, man. I love it when I'm on the boardwalk in Ocean City. Guys like, oh, guess you're 8. I was like, yeah, right. Come on, what? 8? Way off.
No doubt. I
I'm
put you around
surprised every
30,
time.
so I was way off.
I wish, man, 30.
Right?
I thought
Oh,
Chuck
man.
had to beat at least, man. He's like getting old.
I'm turning gray, man.
Oh man, if I let mine grow, dude, it's out there.
Yeah, Josh ain't saying nothing because that fool uses dye.
No, you can't see it, but I got gray all in there. Got a nice stripe going here, too.
Anyway.
Yeah, Chuck
So,
ain't got
Chris,
that problem.
you fly photography drones. You're now into racing drones, and I know you've been. We say racing drones because, you know, it's either photography or a racing drone. They don't.
Right.
Not until you start flying that other stuff does anybody really distinguish the whole acro versus racing, right?
Right.
Do you fly planes or fixed wings also?
No, I'm looking forward to probably stepping into at least a fixed wing one day because I've heard how epic they are. I heard basically it takes so much to get a drone to 100 mph, and a fixed wing will just glide at 100 mph. So it's something to look forward to, you know, later as I'm getting into it.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to. Look, I've got. Hold on a second.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. I'm sticking to quads. Thank you. I've actually done the plane thing when I was a little younger, but it was all line of sight. Yeah, I can't deal with that.
So, I've got this flight test foamy. Okay, this thing's called a Sparrow, and
Okay.
the foam kit itself is like $15 on Flight Test's website. So it comes already like cut out. All you got to do is punch out the pieces.
Okay.
And then it walks you through. They have a YouTube video that walks you through step by step how to put it together. And then it works off a drone motor. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
So Rotor Riot did an episode where they put together a bunch of these things and put their 2400 kV brushless motors on them. They were tearing these things around. FPV, they just mounted a camera on it. And anyway, as you can see, I started it. I finished the construction, but I never put all the electronics in it. I got confused because they don't use a flight controller. They don't use any of the stuff that I'm used to seeing.
Oh, okay.
Servos.
Well, and so apparently, like you take an old receiver, not the kinds that we put in our drones now, but one of the old PPM receivers, probably like the kind that came with your Wizard.
Yes, the i6AB, yes.
Yeah. And you apparently just plug the speed controller into one of those, and then you plug the servos into other ones, and everything actually runs from the receiver.
Yes, exactly. That and a CC3D can do that also. Right. Okay. Yeah. All right. I got what you're saying.
But I never got in to finish it once somebody told me that. But once I got to that point, I was like, now what?
It's pretty much you can handle it for sure. It's pretty much plug and play is what it is. Basically, you're just plugging channels in, and then you're knowing what channel is that you're set to that channel, and then you're gonna work your rudder. You know, I'm actually building a tricopter. Mr. Winky Head's in the chat here, Anthony. He gave me some parts to start it. So what's really cool about that is the rear motor is on a servo. So that's a little bit different hooking up versus what we do. You know, just set down and soldering 4 signal wires and stuff like that, right?
Well,
but it's
the
fun.
thing is that the flight controller does so much of it, and with me having a computer background, it was very very intuitive for me to connect to that flight controller and be able to configure it.
Right.
To work through the transmitter.
Yeah, not me, man. That's why I went with Kiss.
Simple.
Literally plug and play.
That's like race
Basically.
flight. Like the no-name dude was here. Like he's like, man, I want to build drones. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that, right? And he's like, but I'm gonna use race flight. I'm like, wait a minute. You're not going to use beta flight to configure it? I said, how are you learning anything if a wizard's doing it all for you? I said, you cannot do that. If you're going to build drones, it's like opening up a shop. I'm going to work on cars, but I'm only replacing water pumps. It's like, okay, you're not going to get nowhere. But
that is the argument with those guys, and there's a lot of them. They don't want to spend the time tuning and playing, and they want to fly.
It's a pain in the rear, I can tell you, because I've been tuning this thing here, and I am a noob all day long. And I mean, I'll go click a couple numbers and see where it goes. And if things start to get ugly, I'll dial it back. I'll always take a picture before I mess with anything. That way I know I can go back to what I at least started from, you know?
Yeah.
But I hate tuning. I do. But I know one day I'll grab a hold of it, and then I'll have those skills, not depending on a wizard, you know? But that's just the way I feel about things.
The funny thing about it is eventually there will be no tuning. That's the direction it's going.
I know. I've been hearing that.
I think they'll always have the option. I don't think they'll ever take it away. But much like the dynamic filter, they'll make it so you can turn things on.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
because
believe
for
me.
most people, that may do the trick. For some people who get a little further, they might go, well, I noticed this one thing.
Right. And I know when I put that Bardwell board on that 6-inch, and everyone said the 6-inch is harder to tune, I was like, well, it can't be that much different, right? Oh, yeah.
Yes,
it's a world. Yeah, man, that thing's like being in an old Chevy going down or going with the old cool springs. It was terrible, man. It was ugly. So, yeah, I quickly got off that frame.
For anybody out there, I did 6-inch for a while, and basically to get rid of all the jello completely, it came down to just messing with the TPA. It was as simple as that. And It took me months to find out. Just lower the top end on that TPA, and it cleared everything right up as much as it could for a 6-inch.
Right. Wow. Well, thanks for that info. If I ever go back there.
Yeah, and it makes sense once you learn what these things do.
Right? It is. It's amazing. And like I've messed with like dirt bikes and motorcycles my whole life, so I've always like tinkered with carburetors and getting 4 carburetors in sync to make it growl, you know, because if you got one carburetor out, when you throw the throttle, it'll eat too much air or too much gas, throw everything up. And so I was good at messing with stuff like that. So that's why when I come into this side of messing with the drones, it's like all almost makes sense to me, but it's all electronic, so it's kind of at the same time. But I wish they had screws, air screws, and gas screws on them, you know, and I can make them work better.
Some of them do, if you want to go down that nitro route.
Nitro, yes. And I don't want nitro. Nitro sucks. Nah, not for me. I ran RCs with that.
Well, nitro, I think that's just the most horrible segue for running into our second topic.
Well, I don't know.
You like how I did that, right?
Yeah, real smooth. All right, stop. Topic number 2. Where we were going. So I'm sure you guys are on Rotor Riot fairly frequently, and Team Black Sheep and some of those other groups. And, you know, who was it? I know Trappy for sure, who is the owner, the president, the everything of Team Black Sheep, came and said, you know, look, drone business is as far as retail and wholesale is on the drop. It's on the decline. There's not as much stuff being sold, which makes it obviously harder to innovate, this and that. And then Chad Capper comes back and says, no, everything's on the rise. Drone sales are going up. But if you talk to Jim LaRoe or any of those other people, they're saying that, no, they see the decline.
Right.
So, I mean,
I'm thinking, let me stop you there already. I'm thinking, and I have heard Chad Capper say that, yes, it is sort of declining, but that was completely expected because when you have a new business that turns into a craze, it's going to blow up like the housing market did, 10 years ago.
Right.
And then the bubble's going to pop. And then you have your base audience, right? And well, that base audience is going to keep buying. And maybe what Capper was saying when he said it's on the rise, well, maybe it's on the rise for him. Because I think more people are going to the bigger companies, more of that base market, that is going to the bigger companies than they are, the 1,000 mom and pop shops that popped up, over the past year.
Right.
Mhm.
And so we're going to see those mom and pop shops just fall.
I think you're onto something, and that's kind of what I was thinking too. And keep in mind that Capper is not the same type of business as Armatan or TBS or any of those guys. Rotor Riot, when they sell something, they take something that already exists, they get somebody to put their logo on it, and then they sell that. So it's a very different type of business. And really, Chad's forte, as far as I can tell, is sales and marketing.
Yeah, well, it's a media company, for sure.
So I'm sure that skews things. And, like what Trappy was getting at is when you talk about the innovators, the people that are coming out with new stuff, who are, driving new technologies, that, those are the people that are seeing the decline. But those are also the people that drive the hobbies forward. So, what the question comes down to is, how do you minimize that from our perspective, right? Because, and I'll shut up here in a second. If you don't keep the momentum in a hobby like this, and the people who are doing the innovation and the manufacturing can't justify to keep doing it, we end up losing and going back to those DIY home days where people were making stuff out of popsicle sticks and hot glue.
Yeah, basically. And you know what kills me though, is something comes out new. For instance, like when I was into the toyish gray drones, okay, one of those drones would come out and you're watching it as it's, your pre-sales are, and it's like, say, roughly $80. As soon as one of the big name YouTubers would get that thing and go, it's good, that thing would triple in price. And I don't know, that kills the market. Well, I guess doesn't kill, well, it kills the market at a certain angle, I guess, the local shops. But really here, I don't have no local shops. So I really, like, I don't know if you have any around you, but like, I know Hobby Stop and all that, nothing here. I know Seaford's got that Hobby Stop, but they're more into trains, right?
No, they're not trains. They're also planes and fixed wings and stuff, but they have a huge markup. Anything they buy, it's like they're buying 1 or 2 units at retail price, and then they're marking that up for the people that just don't know any better.
I used to buy nitro parts from there, and I used to pay out my rear for stuff. Yep.
Any shop that I've been into in the past 6 has been on the decline. They're not making any money, and that's just strictly because it's all online sales now.
Right.
Any shop that hasn't moved their presence to online is going to disappear. I mean, that's just the way it is. And that's not just in our hobby. That's anything.
You have to be accessible, and that's what it amounts to. And you see, with a business like PyroFlip, he was a stop-in brick-and-mortar store and then converted to all online sales because it didn't make sense to have somebody sitting at a counter for the one person that might stop in every day.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And that's PyroFlip, you freaky Delawarean.
I was going to say... I thought I was saying it wrong the whole time.
I thought it was PyroFlip.
I don't
like
know.
A pirouette. Oh. Huh? That's all right. The first time, like as I was getting into this and made my first mail order from PyroFlip, everybody was talking about Surge, and I, without knowing any better, called him Sergey. I said it wrong, and man, I got crucified for that. It's Sergio. I was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have that issue too. I chop stuff up at times, and people like the montage for YouTube, and I'll say montage. They're like, so are you at the montage mahal, or are you montaging? I'm like, montage. Let me say that for you.
It is montage, isn't it?
No, it's
Yeah.
actually montage. They say it montizing instead of montaging or something. I don't know.
Well, I ain't saying that.
No, I'm never ever gonna say that. No, not gonna happen.
I'll order a Mai Tai, but I am creating a montage.
All right. Well, hey, coming off that topic, what do you guys think that we can do to help promote or spread our hobby?
And some of that, you know, we've been kind of doing. Now, personally, I've only participated, but that was the whole thing, you know, where Chris is saying he saw me on TV. I wasn't even aware I was on the news. But him and E-Drone are local to this area, and Joshua Fielder is actually the guy that headed that up. We have a guy who is in the aerial photography business. Well, not just aerial photography, it's photography in general, but he also does aerial photography. And he has some contacts with our local fairgrounds and people that do other local events and things, whether it be car shows. What we did was we joined into the Outdoors Expo that comes to town. And after talking to them, they said, hey, this thing's getting kind of big. We see that it has an audience. How would you feel if we came and did a demonstration and just set up for a couple days and all that? And I think that's the biggest thing that any of us can bring to this is to reach out. You know, you got people that are getting involved in STEM. They're creating STEM organizations, and not charities. That's the wrong word, but it's a nonprofit. And they're going to the schools, and, you know, it's just involvement. You have to expose people because there's a lot of people that don't even know this exists.
Yeah, and that's how okay, I was involved with a group. M4 was right around the corner from here at my house. It's that's how I got involved with the 3D print and stuff like that. So once a month I did a drone meet over there. You don't have too many people, like they advertise it throughout the way they did, you know, they do things through Facebook and what, but maybe 6 people at the most, but they were in the cameras. They had the phantoms and stuff like that. They were nothing into once, like they were okay once I talked to camera birds, but I talk everything when I talk, you know? So once I got into the race part, they were over with and they never ever called back, never came back. So I think it scares them. And, I don't know why, like, I guess, like we were talking before about airplane clubs, they're not into the drone pilots. You think you go there and mingle and make friends and spread the word and do this and do that, but no, they're not. You're like a Nazi more or less walking on their grounds, right? And it's
I've run into that.
And not all of them. There are some really cool ones out there. A couple of the people in our family, Bob the biker flies planes. He's not like that. He's into the drones. Anthony, Mr. Winky Head. Ray Smith, he flies drones and planes. And I mean, I don't understand. People around me, the Fruitland, Maryland club, they're not having it. They have a couple people to have drones, but that's about as far as they'll take it, they said.
Wow.
But even think about, oh, sorry, go ahead, Chuck.
No, I gotta just trying to plug my damn phone in before it dies.
Oh, gotcha. You know, I think that's a part of this too, because you get a lot of people that they'll buy an RTF package and they'll take it out of the box and they'll have nothing but a hard time with it because they jumped in feet first to the deep end.
Yes. And that is my #1 goal of being here, helping people, because I was the same guy. Bind and fly. Okay, you're going to take it out the box. I'm going to hold a button, turn my transmitter on. I'm going flying. Well, no. It's bind and config. Yeah, you know, and that upset me, and I used to smash my face into the table. I couldn't get Betaflight on my computer. I couldn't get the right port. And it's a lot.
The drivers.
And I said, you know, why am I doing this? Why don't I just stay with the camera birds? There's no need for me to do this. But then I felt like I was letting myself down because I had the wrong equipment for one. Once I got the laptop, got all the ports open up, got into Betaflight, I made myself learn it. So I kind of feel like if everyone would just give it a chance and not just give up that easy, in other words, and that's what I like being here for. And the drone network, that's the biggest thing that we do. And that's what Captain Cook had just built his own drone. And just to give that knowledge too, you know, anyone needs help, you guys are here to help us out, you know, or help anyone else out. And that's what I think is awesome about the network, to network with everybody. Don't go out and spend your money. Come to us, ask us the question, is the drone worth it? What steps will I have to do once I buy it? And we will put you in the right direction. If not, one of our brothers will get it configured for you and mail it back to you, you know?
We've actually had one of our members do that for somebody just a couple months ago.
I have
Had
done
to
it
mail it from they mailed it in from a couple states away because the guy was just asking for help on the same thing over the course of 6 months, and apparently we couldn't get it across to him how to do it himself.
Right.
So Ben Leprechaun Cole, shout out, just said, mail me the damn thing. I'll set it up for you, send it back, and you can have that flight experience that's going to get you hooked.
Right. Yep, exactly.
Yep, he's going to light the bowl for that first hit. Man. And, you know, I did something similar, too. I had a neighbor that when I was still flying the Wizard, come walking down, what is that noise? Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm awesome. I'm a drone pilot, man. Check this thing out. And I'm doing, at the time, it was just terrible. But it was awesome, right? And he said, so he goes and he buys one. And it gets here. And he buys it from Grayson, so it doesn't even take 3 months, right?
Yep.
It gets here, and he does nothing but fight with it. But the guy expects, like, his toy drones to be able to power it on and just go. And when it didn't, he got nothing but frustrated. I ended up taking it from him, doing a full configuration. And when I was doing that, I made that What's a Noob to Do series, going through the Wizard configuration and setup of everything, flashing it, basically making it the way that we like them when we fly them, and gave it back to him. And to my knowledge, he's never flown it.
Because of that, because of that one. I'm sorry, go check.
No, it's just sad.
It is because of that bad experience. Because he thought when he got it, he was going to bind and fly it and go with it. Yep, exactly, and it is that. And I think that's what a lot of people like. I ran across a couple people that are like, I bought these drones, I just got them, and I'm now going to see if you can get them going for me. And it's like, no problem, send them here, get them back going for them, send them back out to them, no problem. And they're happy at that point. And it's sad. What's sad is about that point is you never hear from those people again, though.
Well, and so I said, to my knowledge, this guy never fired it up. But, you know, I'll have you know that up to that point, every single time this guy had even the slightest problem, he didn't even try to figure it out himself. He came down and wanted me to fix it for him.
Gotcha.
And that's something I can't get behind. Like, I'm not the mechanic that says, here's your race car. You wreck it 10 minutes in, bring it back. Okay, fix my race car.
No, you know, it definitely takes a certain personality to get into something like this. You got to be wanting to solve problems.
Yes.
You know, that's the biggest thing. If you see problems as just problems, you're not going to get very far. If you see problems as a challenge, this is definitely the hobby for you, because we have plenty of challenges, and man, it is so worth it.
It is. I mean, like for instance, okay, for me, I run FlySky, so we know PPM is the easiest thing to do. Plug, bam, done. You know what I mean? So now I've moved on to S-Bus. Well, with the FlySky, I realized that I have to. I have to power through the S-Bus, but I have to signal through the DSM export to run iBus. And so yeah, that was challenging in the beginning. That was, you know, like you said. But once I figured it out, and now, but the good thing is, I understand it now. But FlySky is coming out with a better receiver, I heard, S-Bus. So hopefully, 3-wire hookup maybe. It's still a 3-wire hookup, but you just stretching a wire across the board.
Now, once you get away from the Wizard,
one second,
go ahead, Chuck.
If anybody else needs help with FlySky, we do have our resident FlySky operator in the FPV Noob Tube. You just need to hit up Josh Ketchum, and he'll help you out.
Awesome.
True that. That's a guy that we got to get on this channel before too long. or on the channel on Hump Day.
I hear you, Plummet. Well, Scott.
But
It
yeah.
is. I was told when I got into building drones. Actually, Mr. Winkyhead said stick with more or less D-shot with the ESCs. He said an S-bus. He said that's two things that makes things a little bit simpler, so you don't have to go calibrating ESCs and everything. You know what I mean? They pretty much come ready to roll, and that was good info. You know, and I've followed along with that, but I tried to go S-bus with the Fly Sky and just realized, wait a minute, there's a little bit more hoops you have to jump over and through, but then you can make it.
And that little bit is really only with the Wizard, because iBus is S-bus. It's just inverted. So, I mean, all the principles are the same. What gets people is that it's a little weird trying to use the standard Wizard receiver with S-bus or iBus.
I have to do it. I did it on the Dark Max. I had to run it like that. The 3-inch build I just did, I had to run it on that. It's like everything I do it on. It's like, okay, now I understand it, though, so it's like pretty simple for me now, but it wasn't in the beginning. Clicking switches, getting mad.
Chris, I gotta ask you, when you upgraded into Tyrannus, brother?
Well, I did go down the road and I bought the jumper, and I feel like I should have bought the Tyrannus at the time, but because the jumper, to me, it's too much. Okay, it's the protocols. I don't know. To me, it's like it's intimidating, is what it is. To understand, it's like a lot of stuff to understand. So I was honestly thinking on selling the jumper, getting what I get for it, and going towards a Tyrannus.
Well, I will have to say that if you're intimidated by that system, the Tyrannus can be a little intimidating in itself. It's a large system, but it's not that hard. It is pretty simple. There's just so much you can do with it if you want to.
Right. Well, the thing with that...
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Greg. The thing with that is I feel like there's a lot of help there. You know, the brothers out there. The jumper is, there's help there, but the jumper is confused all the way around, if you understand what I'm saying. Like, it might be simple to, like, you guys, like, Josh is like, yeah, Josh probably take the thing and just, like, but to me, I don't know. I just, it's something about it. And I paid $100 for this. I could have bought a Tyrannus. I was a noob.
I know.
But yep, and that's what I bought first. So, and it was the Fly because I had the toy grade quads, and I thought that's what I needed to fly. The toy grade quads have one transmitter for all the drones. I didn't realize that you have to go through, figure out each protocol for the toy grade drone, then go in, search and find. That's the problem that knocks me away from that. When I can get, I got that i6 module that plugs in the back of the Fly Sky, and you hold a stick certain direction and bind up the stuff. So that's why I really bought that, and really not digging it.
Weak sauce.
Yeah, see, and I would think looking at all those drones on your back wall that some of them are Fly Sky, some of them could be FR Sky, and some of them could even be a few of the other protocols that are running around, which is why the jumper would be ideal for somebody like you, because you could have one transmitter to rule them all.
Roll them all. Yeah, I get that. I understand that, but maybe it's not like, you know, a hole I put my foot in yet or something. Like, I understand that, and that thing does have protocols for days.
Yeah, and I think, you know, if I really had to gander at it, I would say that once you figure out how to bind to the proper radio, the rest of it is probably pretty simple, because yeah, all those remotes, all those transmitters are going to have a ton of options, of which you're going to use like 5 or 6. And once you hone in on what those are, it's all the same.
Gotcha.
Yep. Speaking of which, I'm celebrating. I finally went turtle mode.
Yeah.
It works great. I love it.
You know, E-Drone is in the chat right now, or at least he was. I don't know if he had to pop out or not. And I'm flying with this guy the other day, and he's flipping his quad over in the grass, and then he's walking out to it. And I'm like, what are you doing? You got to turn on the turtle, because it's so easy to turn on.
That's the fat man's option, baby.
Yeah, I still haven't stepped into that world yet.
This gut.
One at a time, boys. One at a time.
I'm sorry. I stepped on Josh on that one.
Somebody say something, damn it.
Hey. I said I haven't done the turtle yet.
It's worth it. I mean, more than anything, it's two things that it really is nice for. And the first is the walk of shame, because most of the time you can get it flipped over and you can fly back to yourself.
Right.
The second thing is that sometimes you get stuck in a tree. And because the props without turtle mode only spin in one direction, sometimes it's not enough to get you out. And then there's also the mechanic that in turtle mode, when you hit a direction, it's actually firing up 2 of the motors, not all of them. And because you couple these things together, it makes it really, really easy to get out of trees and things. Whereas before, you know, you're looking for poles and ladders and shit.
Right.
That is exactly... No, let me go. That is exactly why I did it, man. I freaking... You know the story, Josh. I was flying under some eucalyptus trees. Videos on my channel, by the way. Go watch it, fools. And I got stuck about 40 feet up in a branch that was about 30 feet tall. And I spent about 2 hours trying to get it down, and finally I said, screw it. I walked home, and I went and got a tree branch trimmer, and I chopped down that 30-foot branch. Came down like a thunderous boom, and I got my quad. And the day after, I saw a Steel video, a Mr. Steel video, where he was talking about exactly what Josh said, is that you, instead of tightening your quad into the tree more, you can back it out. I have yet to try that, and I hope I never have to, but I'm never going to not have that option again. No.
Yes, I've seen Nameless Droner said he just got out of a tree over the weekend. I seen Night Train Mike. He put his quad in a tree way up above, and I seen him just keep flipping it and get it right out. And I'm like, there ain't no way in this world, dude. And I'm like, did you use turtle mode? He's like, yeah. So I definitely, the wizard can't be set up with it, I don't think. I don't think it has that ability. Oh, can it? Okay, so, but yeah, that would be cool. And so I don't know the whole aspect of how to work it. I know you got to like flip the switch and wait, or disarm or something and wait for it or whatnot.
So the first thing is, and this is the hardest part of the whole thing, you have to go into your modes tab and you have to assign turtle mode or anti-turtle mode, whatever. They call it something stupid. Anyway, you assign it to a free switch.
Okay.
Now, when you're ready to use turtle mode, you disarm, you flip the switch so turtle mode's on, and you rearm, and then you just hit that joystick in a direction. That's it.
Oh, okay.
It's super simple. Then once you're done flipping over, you disarm, you turn turtle mode off, and you rearm.
I do recommend that people that are going to try turtle mode for the first time, just try it on the ground line of sight so that you know which way you need to move the stick in order to get it to go the way you want it to go before you're in a situation where it's far away or you're in a tree.
Okay. Awesome.
Definitely.
I'll definitely give it a shot.
Man, Eric will tell you, I was all up in the trees when we were out the other day. That's what I'm all about.
Up in the trees.
No quad left behind and no tree turned unthrashed.
I seen you up under the trees the other day. That's where it's at. Canopy, baby.
It is.
So
I'm working on that one still. I'm not feeling like I've gotten really picky with the footage that I share. Like it has to be to a certain standard for me to throw it out there now. And I'm not happy with it just yet.
Right. So have you ever had a quad in the tree that turtle mode would not get out? No? Awesome.
I haven't been there yet. I literally just put it on there the other day because of that tree incident. It got me so frustrated. I'm like, screw this. Oh.
He'll have a tree incident coming soon. Watch.
Oh, I haven't. I'm one with the trees often.
You know, my problem is, and it's not just the canopies. I like to be up in stuff and close to stuff. The field just doesn't do it for me anymore.
Right.
That's my new jam, man. All up in the tree.
All up in the tree.
Oh, man. Well, look, there's one more thing I super want to talk about. We don't have to cut this off at, at 10 o'clock, but there's one big thing that I really want to talk about, and that is these talks coming through Congress now about stomping us and stopping us dead in our airspace. You guys
watched it.
Yes. These guys are not playing. And look, I don't know if you guys noticed this while it was going on and you were screaming that these guys are royal assholes that need to back up. We didn't have any representation there, or next to none. We did have
one guy. There was one guy who stood up for us, and they shut his ass down immediately. And it has nothing to do with us. We are not going to control that airspace.
Right.
So basically what the argument amounts to is, now that Amazon wants to use drones and these other companies want to use drones, technology that we have helped to mature,
right?
They want to tell us that we don't have the right to fly under 400 feet. We don't have the right to the 5.8 gigahertz band or spectrum, that we don't have the right to operate our equipment outside of designated airfields.
And that, I honestly haven't watched anything on it because I when I was big into another hobby, the guns, I went through that every week. They would drop something. Man, we're going to go to do this. So I'm kind of hoping it's something that just blows off and something, you know what I mean? But I'm hearing that it is getting serious. And then people talk about it just then wanting more money out of us. So I guess I honestly have to watch it myself if it's getting that serious. So
it's a 3-hour-long video, and a lot of it has nothing to do with us in particularly, but it is definitely worth watching. A quick way to get it, guys, because I don't remember the name of it exactly, and I'm sure nobody else does. Is Zoe from Rotor Riot, the chick.
Yeah,
it's on her channel. Now she does commentary over it, but it's on her channel if you guys are interested in watching it. And I do recommend that you do. And yes, it will piss you off.
Gotcha.
I mean, what it's coming down to is our hobby's not small. It makes quite a bit of money. But the companies that are looking to control the airspace that we use make billions. We cannot compete with that, and we're not going to be able to. And that's my opinion anyway.
Right.
And we don't stand a chance. I think personally, the direction this is going to go, if any of you old enough to remember the late 80s and skateboarding.
Yes.
That's the direction this is going to go. And if you guys would like to elaborate on that, go for it.
Well, the first thing I'm going to throw out there is Zoe was a great recommendation, but XJet is the one that I watched.
Yes, Bruce.
I missed his. I missed it.
And Mr. Winky went ahead and recommended that too.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly where I see this going, that if we're going to be doing it, it's going to end up being underground because we're forced to be. And, that's a really shitty state of things to be in because somebody else has their hands in a politician's pocket.
Right. And then what's going to happen when, these companies go doing their things, their drones are going to smashing into people, beating the cars up and all. I mean, they're just going to go, you know what I mean? But if we have an incident that's, which we always fly safe, but you're going to always have that one time probably, and hopefully not. But, we would be totally at fault. They want to shoot us, line us up on a line, but
the thing is, and the corporations don't want to hear it, and the politicians could give a rat's ass. We can live in the same airspace, and I don't even mean the 400. Like, let's say, because we know that our limit is supposed to be 400 feet. I can't say whether I have or not, have ever taken it upon yourself to go above that, that's on you.
Right.
And there's plenty of ways and times you can get away with it, right? But these guys, give them the 400 to 800. And then they can run on the same frequencies. Actually, they're running strictly off GPS. They're not even piloting the aircraft. Let them have their own airspace. We don't have to give them ours.
Exactly. And that's the thing. What are they going to have, like a delivery thing come ripping across 200 feet, you know, with a package or something? Like, come on. They're going to be up probably, like you said, the 400 or above at that.
You know, I think that this is going to affect, because Chris, you're into the camera platforms and the GPS platforms. I really think this is going to have a much higher impact on you guys, because we're the dirty skateboarders. We can go hide in a bando and go fly all we want and post it and say I found the SD card. Sorry, but when it comes to you guys, where they already have geo tracking in the drone, you guys are going to be screwed. I mean, I already know so many people who have, you know, $5,000 camera drones, and it just collects dust in their closet because they.
Right. And I do want to get the 107s, but at this part, I'm really like at why should I get it? Because even if I get a 107s, I'm still going to be same as everybody else, done dirty. It's like you're going to cost me $200 to go for the 107s, and then you're telling me you're going to kill the drone theory, you know, our freaking hobby. And then, so what did I just do all that work for? Learn all that knowledge to get a 107 to make money with my drone, which is right here, the Inspire one. And that's what I wanted to do, survey power lines around my area, you know, and that was the whole idea. But now it's just like you said, I'm honestly glad I went to the dark side. If I wouldn't, I would be there holding my hands going, you know? Now I'm just like, come on, we're going to ride.
Yeah, man, I hear you. I'm really, really upset about this. Like, when I start talking about it, I can feel my blood pressure go up. I was talking to my dad about it the other day. Now, my dad is not an RC guy. He doesn't fly. He watches me once in a while and goes, yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. And that's the extent of it. But I was talking to him about it because he brought it up. He said, you know, how does this work legally? Like, are you allowed to fly this anywhere? And I started breaking it down. I said, there's just a few vague rules of things you shouldn't do. Other than that, you can fly it most anywhere as long as you are inside of those rules. And then I told him about everything that was going on. And even he said, that's asinine. But, you know, he's right in what he said. He said politicians get a hold of everything and always ruin it. It's about regulation. And regulation is about taxation. It's about income.
Yeah.
And you guys wonder why the plane guys don't necessarily like us. Well, there you go, bub. They've been doing the hobby. I mean, when did those string control planes can't come out in like the 60s or something like that?
Yeah.
70s? I don't know what it is, and they've gone all the way then, telling it decades. They've had their hobby free and clear, and here us unruly kids come in, and now the government's involved.
Well, let me tell you, I have already started fashioning a letter to send to my local FAA representative, and I'm also going to start blasting my local politicians. Because that's all we can do is be a voice.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, we need to. Let's not look at it on a rotor riot level. Let's not look at it on a guy building quads in his garage and he does it as a hobby. Let's all hold hands, because you know what? When we all speak, it don't matter if you're 50 cents in the hobby or you're $5,000 in the hobby. We'll make that voice and we will be heard, because with the guns, it used to be the same way. And I used to be in the same situation, and we all would grab hands and hold together and make one voice. And honestly, when that day came, it did get postponed or something. Yahtzee. So yeah, you know, that's exactly what we need to do. Whether you're planes, drones, whatever, you know, you fly.
You know, I'm bad. And what I'm bad about is saying somebody else will take care of it for me. But usually the things that are impacting me aren't something that I feel so passionate about. This is the first time where I didn't give a shit who was saying what. Like, I was already typing something up. I'm just taking my time to get all my thoughts together, get them proper. I'll share it with you guys. That way, for the people that just can't be bothered to write their own stuff, that's fine. But because that was normally me. But, you know, we've got to have a voice because there's so few of us.
Right.
Oh, and I think that if anybody out there is planning to contact anybody in the government about this, start local.
Yeah.
Because that is where you can have the most impact. Your local representative, whether the town mayor or even your state legislators, if you want to go that high up, but start small, because that's how we're going to get local laws passed, and that is the start of everything.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, you find a lot of guys in Joshua Fielder's group, and what was his name? Neil Young or Neil Little? Do you know who I'm talking about, Chris?
Not sure.
No. Okay.
They're one of the local multi-GP chapters.
Okay.
One of the guys that races is like 17 or 16, still lives at home. His dad is a politician on the eastern shore of Maryland or in Kent County, Delaware. And this guy is advocating for why we should not be regulated out the ass and should not have to have all these rules, and essentially why this should exist and why people shouldn't be telling us that we can't do it.
Right? I mean, yeah, I feel like to me, I see no one around me flying drones, so I don't know. That's what I'm trying to wonder too. Like, is it going to impact different areas? You know what I'm saying? Like big cities, is it going to impact them harder than it impacts someone like me out in the woods? You know what I mean? Because I can just go over here in the field and fly. Basically, my neighbors aren't going to call. You can go over here and just shoot a cannon off. They're not going to call the police, so they're not going to do nothing when you go fly your drone. You know?
Lucky bastard.
But you're absolutely right, and that's just like the guns. If you go to New York City, you have to apply for a permit to buy a gun. And that permit covers what type of gun you're allowed to buy. And only then can you even enter a gun store. And then you can only buy that type of gun.
Yes.
And that's if you get approved for the permit.
And that's a big if.
And so with the same idea that because you have more people around, of course it's going to be enforced more. If you're somebody living in the hills of Montana, you're going to do this all day and nobody's going to give two shits.
See,
there ain't no fun bandos in the hills of Montana, bro.
Yeah. And the only place I see that I fly is where we've flown, Josh, in that park. I do see, if it comes down to it, they would probably have an issue there because the city workers. Now, that depends on if the city workers want to be eggheads. But there are police officers that do sit there and eat their lunch or whatnot. Now, rather they would know the law and approach me and say something, but at that point, like, what are they going to do? They're not going to arrest you, really, because they're not going to want to do the paperwork. They're just going to tell you take your drone down and go home. So
right.
I'm going to push the issue if it comes to that, honestly, and just like make them do their part, you know?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, though. When you look at it like that, I can go to the park, and unless somebody's going to stop me, the park works. But how long before the park's not fun anymore? How long before it bleeds over into other areas? Because one thing I won't do is I won't go on private property and fly unless I know someone. I won't just help myself.
Right. No, I'm the same exact way. And that field that I fly in over there, I have the farmer's permission, and I also go through the guy that owns the house right there. I got to walk through his driveway to access the field. So I went over there that day and asked him, is it okay for me to cross your property to get to that field? He loves what I do. He's like, yes, sir, do it, man. I love sitting on my deck and watching you have to rip these machines. So,
well, Dave, check this out, Josh. Both of you, actually. It's already illegal to fly any drone in a state park. Okay? That's something to keep in mind, guys, because your local park might be a state park.
Gotcha.
It's something to take a look at because you can get into some serious trouble. Worst comes to worst, they're going to take your stuff.
I hear you.
Right. It's not illegal like jail time, but it's not permitted. I think that's the right word for it.
I think is what the penalties are. But
you're absolutely right. We've run into that in my area, and that's why I'll fly at county parks, but I won't touch the state parks.
Gotcha.
And that being said, how much longer do you think it's going to be before county, city, township, parks
all join hands,
are going to be affected by this rule? And that is the #1 place where racers and freestyles fly.
Yep. And it's compounded by the problem when you get these groups of asshats that run out and pretend like they own the place and they have more right to be there than anyone else. Right. And they're flying their quads into people's babies and shit like that.
Yes. And
I saw that picture.
I mean, look at the day we went to that park, Josh. They had what? There was probably, man, they had a big hootenanny up there, a big family get-together. They never once came to us, had any issues. They were more interested in what we were doing, honestly. And that's how it's always been to me. I've never, ever, ever, knock on wood, have never had a confrontation. I came close to one time, but I packed up and got out of there before it got to the confrontation. I'm the kind of guy that I'm not going to confrontate. I'm going to make sure my stuff is safe, and I'm going to bust that ass. It's that simple, you know, because I feel like if I'm done doing something wrong, then you get on me. If not, then move on, you know. Don't do it just because my bird's bigger than yours.
Yeah.
All right. And that is one thing I want that everybody needs to do, including myself. I'm guilty of this. We all need to get a second pair of goggles. Because this actually goes back to our previous topic, where how is this hobby going to, how are we going to spread this hobby? It's word of mouth. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be us getting our friends to it, people that are curious.
Here you go.
See, he's got 2 of them right there.
Put these on, and I'll show you exactly what I'm doing instead of me explaining it to you. That's exactly what I do. When I go, I carry 2 pairs of goggles, and that's exactly what I do. Like, people, for me to explain it to them, I'm saying, hey, are you comfortable? And they put them on, and here you go, you know what I mean? And then show them exactly what it's about. You got them hooked as soon as you go off the ground with these things.
You're absolutely right.
Just make sure they lean up against something or sit down, because a lot of people get a little queasy.
Yeah.
My old Kylan Visions that I hooked up to work off lipos, I keep them under the back seat in my truck. They're always my second set. That way, if I run across somebody that's interested, I can do just that.
Yep.
Now, all this being said about the encroaching laws that are gonna come, it's inevitable. I mean, that's not really that's not really even a discussion anymore. They're coming. What are you guys gonna do about it? Me, I'm flying. I'm in this hobby for life. I personally don't give a rat's ass what laws they put on it. I'm gonna fly, and I'll admit that freely to anyone, including the people who are making those laws. And I'm not stopping. Now, I'd like to know what you guys think about that and why.
I feel the same way. I'm in this hobby. This has been the best hobby I've ever been into. I feel the love in this hobby, and it's like, I'm not stopping either. You know what I mean? They're going to literally have to come to that field, arrest me, take my drone, and they better make sure I have all my drones on me, because I'm coming to the house, grab another one, grab another lipo, and I'm going straight back out there, and I'm going to do it again. If they arrest me when I get out, I'm going to go out, and I'm going to do it again. When they arrest me, I'm going to get out, I'm going to go out, I'm going to do it again, you know? And that's what it is, because I'm going to keep flying. I feel the same way you do. I love doing it, and I don't feel like we hurt nothing. It's kind of just like I was telling my wife and my son one day. You got people that go to the beach and party. When they get done, they got their beer cans scattered everywhere, cigarette butts everywhere, right? No disrespect to drinkers or smokers. But when we fly, what do we leave? Nothing but our footprints. I mean, you might break a prop and have a plastic blade laying somewhere.
Pick them up.
Yeah, I pick them up if I see them, exactly. But the ones that you can't see, other than that, what are you doing? Nothing. Or leaving a dent in the ground, you know? So I'm always going to fly, and that's how I feel.
Yeah, replace your divots, a-hole.
I will always fly, and part of that is because where I live, it's not even like I have to be sneaky about it. I will always have somewhere I can fly. But I would love to be able to have accessibility to batteries, to flight controllers, to motors, and all the things that if these laws get passed, it's going to affect the manufacturers, the retailers, and it's going to make it harder for people like me to do. It's going to make it hard for people to get into, even harder.
Yes.
To be honest, I think that if it does come down to them busting down on the retailers, it's not going to stop us. It's just going to make us order from China.
I'm already ordering from them, so.
No.
I mean, they've already kind of shown that you can't really stop it from happening, because all those video the VTXs that have the low band and all that, they're still all widely available. You just order them from China. Literally, our VTXs are supposed to have. They're supposed to be hardwired to the antenna, so it's not removable, unless you have a ham license. Who do you know that cares about that? Seriously.
Well, personally, I'm looking, like, part of me wants to get my 107, so if I'm ever faced with an opportunity, I don't have to turn it down. The same reason that part of me wants to get my ham certification, but part of that is for knowledge, for the knowledge that I would get out of it and things that I'm already curious about. But I'm not against licensing and certification and things like that. I am against regulation for the sole purpose of profit.
Right. I would agree with that, but we're not going to be able to stop that. We're not. I mean,
I know.
That's a really sad thing that I've come to terms with. That's coming. I mean, I lived through the late '80s with skateboarding, where skateboarding was a crime.
Yes.
So what did we do? We went out and we broke into people's backyards, and we skated all their empty pools because there was a drought in California at the time. And what do you know? Decades later, it's one of the biggest sports in the world.
And that's what's going exactly. But I don't want that dead time. I don't want that downtime in between, because it took a while for skaters to get back out there.
It's coming, brother. I mean, it really sucks. It's one of the saddest. It makes me really sad that I know it's inevitable.
Right.
And I understand there are some things we can do about it, like Josh was saying. Talk to your local legislators.
I'm definitely in on that. I'm definitely going to do something. It's
still coming. I mean, we're going to have to fight.
You know where it's going to be hugely impacted? When you have an area like Rotor City, not Motor City, Rotor City, Detroit, okay? Yes, the old home of automobiles in America, now the home of some of the most epic flying spots you'll run into in the hobby. The second laws come, the police know where to go hang out if they have nothing better to do. It's like the guys that shoot speed traps.
Right?
Ain't no different from the skate spots. It's just like a local skate spot. It's the same thing.
It's a different type of bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, lady.
Hey, Josh.
What's going on?
Hey, Crystal.
Well, actually, I'm still live, so I guess, wanted to rage live this time. But now I came to steal one of Chris's 3D printed drones. They want to see it on Wacky Wednesday, so.
Do it.
Yeah.
Say hi to the kids. Say hi to the kids on Wacky Wednesday for us.
Oh, I will. You know it. Love you guys.
Very cool.
Well, that's where all our viewers are.
Yeah. It came through. A couple of them came through. Hashtag Wacky Wednesday. Wacky Wednesday.
Well, you know, when old Gravy Leg was on last week, we actually hit like 30 or something viewers at one point, or 35. I have to check, but I was kind of beside myself for the moment.
Josh, as soon as that was done, I went to rewatch it to see how it went, and it said it had 97 views.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And that wasn't but 15 minutes after we ended it. So
yes.
Yep.
Now,
we did all right, man.
I've done a live stream. The Monday nights that I've done, I've gotten off that thing and had 177 views. One person in there trying to keep up with that chat. Oh my God. Yeah, I was in chat when Matt was in here, man. That chat would jump. It would jump 12 sections.
Oh man. Well, look.
So when are you guys going to qualify for that super chat then? You're going to need that now.
Captain is actually headed there. I'm already there, but we do it all on Captain's name. Like, I could monetize in my name. I was actually one of the guys that got that AdSense kick in the balls. You know, when you got your AdSense account to the threshold and say, "Give me my money," and they said, "No, you'll get the back, little kid." and that's what they did to me. So I got a postcard in the mail like a month ago, so I got to go ahead and claim that, and hopefully they'll say I can monetize. And I really don't want to. I don't do this to make money. I don't want to. And you know what? Because you got to have a 107 to post your flight videos if you monetize. People don't realize that and will get hung in a noose on that to watch that. That is a terrible, terrible, terrible bait trap thing type of sort of, so shall I say. But so I don't do it to get paid, no way. Like so I would have to decipher what video I want to monetize, which one I do, which one I don't. Right now I can put any music in any one of my videos. I don't have to worry about that. I have to worry about my music then, pick and choose my. I'd rather just keep it the way I'm doing it now, you know. And that's.
Anybody that watches my stuff knows I will never monetize because I always use good music.
Exactly. That's it.
So
that's
Chuck,
actually why. Hey, that's actually why I started doing it. It's because I couldn't stand the generic remix crap that everybody's using. But I digress. Josh.
no, you're good. I was actually going to say, speaking of your music, for anybody who's in here's listening who may not be aware, Chuck does a thing called the Noob Crew, where he features one of the FPV Noob Tube members. Now, he will reach out to people sometimes and say, hey, would you want to be on the Noob Crew? But it makes it even easier if you guys reach out to him and say, hey, Chuck, I want to be on the Noob Crew. You don't have to be a Mr. Steele, a Vic Lanning, or any of those guys. Just yourself. So, Chuck, why don't you tell us a little bit about Noob Crew?
Well, I started the Noob Crew, like I said, because I was so sick of the music that everybody was using. And on the original episodes, I actually split the show in half, and I had a guest where I highlighted a pilot and showed one of their flight videos, and then did my own afterwards. But they ended up being too long, and nobody wanted to watch a flight video that was, 15 minutes long. So I cut it down just to be highlighting you guys, the pilots of the FPV Noob Tube. That is basically the environment, is that you be part of our community, because that's who I'm here to highlight. I want to see you guys fly. And what happens is if I choose you, you'll go ahead, you'll go out and rip a couple packs, and then you'll send them to me over Google Drive or whatever. There's a few services that do it. Yeah, I know why Josh is smiling. We'll get into that. And then I'll go ahead and edit it. And I didn't intend it to be this way to begin with, but it actually has turned out that I've helped a lot of people that either don't have the expensive editing software that I have, or a computer that is able to do it. So I'm more than happy to take up that slack, just as long as you're happy that I'm going to put my music on it. Because everybody that I put out rocks.
Yep.
Well, you guys can hit me up. You guys can hit me up. I'm Charles Hoover in the Facebook group. You can message me, do whatever you want to do. And I do say that you don't have to be a Mr. Steele, that's for sure. But I do want to see some skill, and I want to see you pushing yourself, because I do want to make this entertaining for everyone.
I'm totally down with that. You know the mantra, if you're not breaking it, you're not trying.
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about. And the next fool that's going to join the Noob Crew is Josh Withrow. I finally got his footage after months of battling with him to use Google Drive over some obscure freaking program that he was trying to send crap to me on that I couldn't get. I have the footage. It's sitting there waiting for me to edit it, and will be coming out soon. And
nice.
Believe me, I've watched it. It's some good stuff.
Oh, gravy, Matt, welcome.
Man, I avoided it for 18 months.
Yeah.
So you're saying if I want to give him some footage, I got ways to go?
I don't know. I never seen you fly, bro.
I can't, man.
I find that hard to believe.
I've seen Chris. Chris has got some balls for the amount of time he's been flying. racing drones.
About a month and a half.
He's just figured out. He was telling me when we were together, he's just figured out the pump and dump.
That's a great way to put it.
The pump and dump. Yeah,
he's like, oh man, I was watching and I saw that they would just hammer the throttle, and while it was throwing them in the air, they would do stuff. And I'm watching this fool flipping, flopping around and stuff. All I'm going to get him to do is try to bring it a little lower, you know, tighter places. He'll be money.
I'm on it, bro. Hey, I'm telling you, I already do it. Look, I already go across, right? I go, so think of my Magnum, how high my Magnum is. I'll go across the Magnum. I go, woo! I'll throw backwards and look at the Magnum upside down, and then I'll flip out of it.
The look back, baby. That's my favorite move. I've been doing.
Yes. Hey, I looked at the ground quite a few times, but
it takes a little bit to get. I'll tell you what, man. I've been flying over a year, and I'm really just now getting comfortable with flying and doing tricks in tight places.
Okay.
You know, where you're doing tricks where you only have 10 feet and there's a ceiling above you, whether it be trees or a building or whatever.
Right.
And it's taken me that long to get comfortable enough. Now, a lot of other guys have, you know, progressed quite a bit quicker than me, but I'm no spring chicken, you know, so.
I want to get to that smooth stage, and I know you guys have been doing it for a while, and I feel like, I don't want to sound vulgar or nothing, but I feel like I try to grasp everything faster than everybody, if you know what I'm saying. Like, I want to jump into it. In other words, I'm 45. I don't want to take 3 years to get there. I want to do it in 3 months.
It's okay to be vulgar, bro. You want to grab that shit by the balls.
Exactly, and just hold that bitch.
Yank.
Yeah, but that's what I love, the buttery smooth stuff. Like when you watch Josh fly, how Josh, and I feel like, not to toot my own horn, I feel like I have it. Like I said, how Josh said, that pump and dump, man. Before I learned that, I was hard. I'd come in to dive so hard and fast, you know. Once I learned that, and just look and then just take it and go with it. And I'm like, wow, get out of here. And I learned that on the simulator, to be honest with you.
That's one thing I've never touched, and I probably should. I could probably progress on my tricks way faster. But to be honest, and Josh will tell you, after over a year, I'm just now coming into the point where I can produce a smooth flight video, because my style isn't very conducive to smoothness. It's more conducive to smashing into buildings at full speed.
See, when I go to a concert, I like to sit in a lawn chair in the back and drink beer and listen to the music. By comparison, Chuck is the mosh pit.
Yeah, I guess I'm with you, Chuck.
And that's the flight style difference, too.
I'm like, drive that beach till the wheels fall off, you know what I mean? Like going up and going invert and then yawing, or doing the tomahawk, taking the drone up, doing the knife edge, and then yawing it. Oh, dude, that's epic. Like, and I shouldn't even be doing stuff like that, being a noob at flying.
Yes, you should. Just have spare parts.
That's exactly how you grow.
But yes, I love it, man. The freedom, it's just the freedom is what all I can explain is owning that drone that day when you fire that thing up, going out and owning it. That's the point. You know what I mean? Just ripping it so hard. It's shaking every time you flip or something, you know? I love it.
I still get, you know what? A lot of people say that the shakes go away. Not for me, man. I get the shakes damn near every time, unless I'm just completely shouldn't even be in the air that day, which happens occasionally.
Right.
You know, that rare mood where I just can't do anything. But you know what? Unlike Josh, who wants to be the perfectionist and will never be happy with his footage, so he might as well publish it anyway, I publish everything. I include the crashes on purpose. I'm human. That's how I'm portraying myself.
Yeah, I'm posting everything. I'm the guy that posts that trash, you know. And I mean, I don't know. Like a lot of people's like, leave the sound of your motors in there. I don't get it. Some drones, dude. Night Train, his freaking Ghost, dude, is so beautiful. The sound of those motors. And I'm a guy. Like I said, I was in the motorcycles, two-stroke guy, right? I like to hear that crispness. So I like to hear those motors sing. And when you hear some of it you hear the motors are real smooth, and some of it you hear a lot of wind noise. How do you kill the wind noise to get the motor noise? Is that DTX picking up?
First, Josh, what do you think?
Really, what that is getting a GoPro, and when you turn down the volume, you still hear that little bit of motor noise over top of the wind.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is something that a lot of people try to not do. Like, they try to buy a $20 camera or a $30 camera.
Right.
Guys, right now, the GoPro Session 5s, don't get a Session 4.
I got the 3.
No, put it away. You can go on eBay and get a refurbished GoPro Session 5 for $130 shipped directly from GoPro. Do it.
And I've still seen them and some Walmarts still have them for $200.
Damn.
Which you can get a protection plan on, which basically just gets you your money back when you bust it.
Gotcha. Well, that would make sense going on a drone. Yeah, I would be
Some
the one
Walmart.
to bust it.
But they are disappearing. Get them quick.
I was just looking at my wizard frame earlier. I was like, you know what? She's broke at the bottom again. She's broke 3 places on the top again. I'm like, yeah. Top and bottom plates, loving it. So yeah, the plan would definitely.
I actually have a tip for you for that wizard. Is that Josh Withrow? He has his own Facebook group that's dedicated to the wizard strictly. And he's the master of the wizard. I mean, he's had them all.
I've heard of that guy.
And what he did was he had 3D printed top plate made. Check this out. And I know you can do this, right? And then, listen, and then you install the carbon fiber top plate, and then you install the 3D printed top plate right on top of it. And it will turn that thing into a brick.
3D printed top plate already.
So just get some longer screws and throw that right on top of your existing top plate, and it will make your frame so much stronger.
Gotcha.
Especially since you're not using the side plates.
You're awesome, brother.
Chris, I'm going to add to that. I have a box with at least 2 brand new unopened Wizard top plates, bottom plates, and something like 8 arms. So next time I see you, it's yours.
Oh, wow. You're awesome, brother. Appreciate it. I'll definitely use them.
The one thing with that wizard, man, she doesn't have top tier fiber. So, but if you take a brand new top plate and you take that printed plate that you did and you sandwich them together, it is going to make a world of difference.
Okay, nice.
Hey, bro, I'll tell you what, man.
Down the street.
We all started with the wizard, right? We all know that it's actually, minus some of the electronics inside it, it's a good quad. It really is. And a lot of people still use them. And I'll tell you what, yes, I moved on. I got a freaking reverb right here that I spent a ton of money on. But you know what it's shaped exactly like?
A wizard.
A wizard.
I was going to say, it looks just like a wizard.
Right? So there ain't no shame in rocking a wizard. That's for sure.
Bro, there is no
good motors on it.
There is no RTF package that has ever dominated the quad market like the original Wizard.
I love this thing. E-Drone gave this to me. I had the awesome Waikara Runner 250. Look, that thing. That's why. Okay, I got to admit that's why I can fly decent. Okay. Because I did run that thing for a year. And let me tell you something about 2-piece bullet connectors on Waikara. When you throttle punch that thing, they lose connection. And then the drone goes, pow, straight to the ground. Flip of death every time.
I almost bought that thing, I swear to God. That was going to be my first quad. Found the wizard.
You would, were the people we're talking about that would have got in the hobby and out of the hobby? That would have been you, brother, because the Waikara sucks balls. So you have to solder those connectors under there. If you solder those bullet connectors, you are golden. That thing will be just as hard and solid as can be. I actually have another Runner 250 on its way to me because I love it. I didn't buy it. Someone gave it to me, so I couldn't turn it down. But yes, I love that bird, and I will rape it when it gets here.
Aren't those like brutally heavy?
Yes, they are. Think of a flying brick bat. The red bricks, that's exactly what that thing reminds you of. And when you fly it, it reminds you of that. When you take that thing and rip it over and you do a 180, that thing just keeps going. It's like being on the water with a boat. It'll just keep going the same way unless you get back in the throttle and come back other way.
Sounds like it needs bigger motors.
2,500 kV motors on it already.
Yeah, but what size is the stator?
I wanted to say 18306 maybe.
Oh, really?
Really?
I could be wrong. They have screamers.
Then may I recommend a lower KV?
I'm not
For
sure.
that much weight, I think a lower KV might help that out a little bit.
It would scream. Let me tell you what. It would get. It was literally me and my son. We got that thing probably fresh 2 months into the hobby, and started out with a toy grade drone. Let me tell you what. That was an experience. Okay, so here's what I take the experience to. We're all out at the bar. We're all three out to the bar, right? You guys get on the bull and then have the guy go ahead and start cranking up the power on it. Me, I'm just like, nah, turn the power all the way on, and I'm going to jump on it. That's what that Wakara is like. That thing is a beast. It is that reckless. Yes. So I tamed that monster, and that's what I think helped me when I jumped into the race drones. I think I already had a little bit of that muscle memory there from dealing with that monster. So.
Well, I'm glad you finally got into it, man, so I can stop pestering you about your camera drones.
Now you got to get a delivery to the East Coast.
I love, yes, for sure. If you ever come near Ocean City, Maryland, or Salisbury, Maryland, hit me up for sure.
Well, you know we're coming for next Nubapalooza, and it's looking like Delaware.
And
not sure why, but I think we're heading that way.
I think you might be right. I'm trying to figure out how to break it to the old lady.
I thought
that's going to be a tough. You might have to send her on vacation, bro.
Honey, I got this nice vacation for you.
Well, what's funny is she already knows. She already knows about all you guys.
I thought about you.
You're gonna have to get her
because
you're gonna have to get her a cruise, bro.
Royal Farm.
It's only this. That's the biggest problem. Is this?
Rofo has Chicken Palooza 2018, and I saw that, and I was going to text you a picture of it.
I saw that the other day, and I was just like, no.
I was like, yeah. I was going to get on the big yellow chicken and get Crystal to take a picture of me and then send you to the Chicken Palooza.
God. All right. Well, I tell you what, guys. Let's go ahead and wind this thing down. We've run over by about a half hour. I don't know about you guys, but I got to work tomorrow. So,
whatever, bro. It's only 7:30.
10:30 here.
I know. I can still see the sun up shining on Chuck's face.
I know, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
let's go ahead and wind this thing down. So, Chuck, thank you very much for once again being my superb co-host. I look forward to having you here every show, man. You are. I can't do it without
I'm something.
You, man.
I'm something. That's for sure.
Chris, thank you so much for being on the show, dude. It has been so awesome to finally have you on this. You and I have been talking for so long, and after meeting and stuff, it's just right, you know, and especially with what you guys are doing with the drone network and all the good stuff that you guys are doing over there. That's the kind of people we want to associate with.
Well, thank you.
So, thank you very much for being on the show, brother.
Yes, thank you.
We all, for some reason, immediately fell in love with the drone network. Even though you guys were a small crew, the noob crew just invaded, and I don't know if we took over a little bit, but
hey, that's what it is, brother.
I will see you on the pre-show, man. Why don't you give yourself a plug and let everybody know what you're doing on your channel?
All right, guys. we do on the Drone Network is on Thursday nights at 7 p.m., 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We run the Drone Network pre-show show. Come in, have fun, like Chuck said. The Noob Tube crew's there. We have a big family there. If you're new, we will open our arms up to you. Friday, we do the Drone Network, and that's at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And same thing, come in, talk about drones, talk about what you've done for the week, talk about what you're going to get into, whatever. Just come and have fun, sit back, do what you do, and enjoy the show. Josh, Chuck, thank you so much for having me. Awesome, man. Really appreciate it.
Shout out to Captain Cook, his partner, Chris's partner in crime. And if you guys do decide to check their shows out, if you talk enough trash, Captain Cook will eat something nasty for you.
Yes, he will. The captain will eat just about anything. A water scorpion, he ate one and will only eat one. But that's whose channel the Drone Network is on. He is the Drone Network, and that is my big brother, Captain Cook. So, yes, check us out, guys. You're going to love the show if you have not already.
Last and final call out for DAMO for being a no-show.
DAMO, what's up, fool? You fell asleep on us, didn't you? I know it. I'm going to get you later, fool.
Dame just didn't
across the pond is no excuse.
He didn't want to meet MD, man. No.
So, next show, if I can get that fool on, looks like DAMO is going to be our guest.
Yeah, if we can get him some coffee, shoot.
Good Lord. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Have a great night and happy crashing.
Peace out.
Peace. Thanks for joining in.